Start off by letting you know that Houston's up 3-0. New England 0, Houston 3. I always find it amazing that this event starts over the weekend and that it tends to fall playoff weekend and we still get a good participation, which I think says a lot about our industry. I want to make it, there's a quick note in the book. I want to just let you know that this talk is kind of geared toward affiliate managers. So obviously happy to have any publishers participate, ask questions, but if you're wondering about the focus, it's wrong in the book. It is really kind of geared toward affiliate managers and how affiliate managers can look at different segmentation models in managing their publisher base. When I registered this morning, I received a 10+ badge for my affiliate summit, which I guess means this is my 10th affiliate summit, which is both humbling and I think sort of a source of pride as well. Humbling probably because, to be honest, most of my colleagues at Google were in high school 10 years ago, and some of them weren't even in high school yet 10 years ago. A source of pride because it's been really an amazing experience to watch this industry grow and change. And I think this event is very much a reflection of this industry and how much it's grown and how professional the industry has grown to be over this last decade. I wanted to start by talking a little bit about myself. I held out a long time against Pinterest. I felt like I didn't need yet another place to go and yet another social media, and people didn't need to know any more about my life. I am now borderline obsessed with Pinterest these last probably 6-7 months. I'm in the middle of looking for a home search and bought a new home that we won't move into several months. So planning your home virtually and just imagining what it might look like, Pinterest is the perfect place to do it. I think we are yet to sort of see how Pinterest develops as a monetization vehicle or as a monetization platform, but obviously many publishers are using the platform very effectively to drive traffic back to their own sites. But one of the things that Pinterest reminds us is just the importance of static visual images, which is something that we'd all kind of forgotten about. So this is just a little bit about me. I've been in affiliate marketing for almost a decade, but before that I was a financial communications consultant helping international issuers go public and raise money in the U.S. capital markets. I love football. I have 2 kids, a ballerina and a hockey player, and I live just outside of Chicago in Oak Park. That is not my house. That's in fact Frank Lloyd Wright's house, but I hope mine would look like that someday. And I love home improvement and DIY projects. So that's just a little bit about me. I'm here today to talk about publisher segmentation and a couple of different ways that I think affiliate managers can effectively look at publisher segmentation models. Performance-driven segmentation, basically by volume, segmentation by business model, segmentation by customer goals, and then finally a couple of ideas about how we all see segmentation in action. When I really think about the different, why segmentation is so important, I mean, affiliates are a very heterogeneous group. There are dozens of business models, dozens and hundreds and thousands of personalities. We all have limited time, resources, and budget. So the more that we segment publishers and the more effectively that we make those segmentation models work for us, I think the better return that we can all have on our investment in the channel. So first, I think that segmentation happens very organically often. So all really publisher relationships are segmented, sometimes very deliberately and sometimes very organically. The most organic publisher segmentation is certainly by size and by overall performance. We like to look at, and sort of, a lot of people talk about the 80-20 mix in affiliate marketing. I think often that's an idealistic number, but we really do try and strive toward thinking about, at least from a segmentation perspective, 70-20-10. There are many publishers, particularly in the retail space, that 70% can be quite consolidated sometimes in terms of the volume that those publishers drive. But we think this is sort of an ideal break in terms of how you should look at the overall volume for your program and segment strategies and optimization efforts around these 3 buckets. When you're talking about the head of your publisher body, The most important thing is to remember is that what you're really doing here when you think about large volume publishers is you're trying to increase your share of their traffic. These publishers enjoy a lot of traffic. They have an audience. And it's really about optimizing your spend so that you can get the greatest possible share of the outbound traffic from their websites. Your optimization levers when you're thinking about the head of the publisher body are, most importantly, premium payouts, direct interaction and relationship building. As we see at this event every year, affiliate marketing is very much still a relationship-driven business, and any advertiser who doesn't have great personal relationships with the head of their publisher body is making a mistake. So we think that that's a very important lever. These publishers and the head of your body often have their own audience, their own brand, and your brand can benefit by associating yourself with that brand. So things like co-branded experiences, custom landing pages, ways of partnering your two brands together can be a very good way to optimize the head of your publisher body. Exclusive offers are a lever that are very important in looking at the head, and of course paid placements. Thinking about optimizing the torso, which I think that this is actually, it's sort of an elusive torso sometimes. The head is very well defined, the tail is very well defined, and the torso is really about finding those publishers that have high potential and deliver great quality traffic. Perhaps the traffic to their website doesn't allow them to get into the head of your body, but they can still be incredibly powerful. And I think the key really here is to align your incentives. If you have certain goals in mind, you want to share those goals with the torso. Find ways to reach the highest potential. Keep an eye on their traffic, both to your website and their traffic overall, to see how these torso publishers are emerging. Tiered payouts can be a very effective way of incentivizing publishers in the torso. And finally, develop brand ambassadors. These are the players that as you see their traffic growing, you really want to be sure that your brand is at the forefront. So simple things like sharing your product with torso publishers, making sure that they use it, making sure that they enjoy the product, and that they love your product is a good way to get the torso publishers on your side. Optimizing the tail. I think the key really when we talk about the tail is that you really have to manage the tail at scale. And therefore, it's really about very clear, simple program guidelines. Don't make it terribly complicated. If there's somebody who's making an investment and coming to Affiliate Summit, they're either believe they've got a lot of potential to make a living in affiliate marketing, or they're probably already doing pretty well. So we're really talking about the small publishers who can't come to Affiliate Summit, who are doing this part-time, who are, or it's a very small piece of a business model where affiliate marketing isn't their only monetization scheme. So it's really about making that interaction as simple and clear as possible. Give these tail publishers information like the best performing offers. Tell them what works for you, because they don't have the time, the resources, or the skills, frankly, to identify what's always working really well. Best performing offers, products, which seasons are important to you, and the categories and creative that are likely to perform well for those tail publishers. You want to manage them at scale. You can't have a personal relationship with everybody, but be responsive. One simple answer to a question can go a very long way for a small publisher. And finally, focus on productivity and activation. Find ways to spot those tail publishers that are starting to gather more traffic. So really, when you're thinking about segmenting publishers by performance level, we think it's very important to align your objectives, make sure that you're using the right payout for their volume. Identify fast movers. Keep an eye month over month on how people grow, and make sure that your segmentation model isn't old and stale and doesn't really deliver on the potential that publisher has. And then most importantly, measure it as often as possible. So moving next to segmentation by publisher business model. I think all of the networks, I'm sure all of the networks have an opportunity for merchants to see how we segment that publisher. At Google, we actually, with an editorial staff, segment the publisher based on the content of that publisher's website and how we see that actually is using affiliate marketing to monetize. That's different than a category. The category is automated based on the content of the site, and that's a crawler that actually talks about, so it could be a shopping site, but it's all about parent, so then that would come in as a parent site instead of a shopping site. So the segmentation piece is really our editorial view on how we think this publisher is using affiliate marketing to monetize. And I think the other networks have something similar as well. So I'm going to talk today about sort of the kind of core publisher segments and how an advertiser can optimize, the different optimization levers that an advertiser can pull against these different segments. First, shopping and promotion sites or coupon sites. These websites, particularly the screenshots here, I think every one of these, I'm sure every one of these is here this weekend, so make sure that you meet them if you don't already have a relationship. But these are websites that deliver great consumer value. They find consumers who are looking for deals and offers, and they give them a great experience by giving them great deals and offers. And these websites have an audience of their own. They have customers who come back and back again. They have customers who find these offers through Google, but they've got an audience that are ready and looking for great offers. So the most important optimization lever when partnering with this segment is giving them a compelling consumer offer. And if your offer, and understanding how compelling your offer is relative to your peers. Doesn't mean the best discount always wins, but it really means arming these shopping and promotion publishers with information about your offer. Information about how your customers are going to perceive a 5% offer if you're not a merchant who gives offers very often, and that you really want to be sure that those shopping and promotion that segment understands this 5% is a big deal to my customers, so really give me some attention around it. Comparison shopping, one of the keys to optimizing this segment is really about the quality of the data that you give these publishers. Some of them find it through crawls, some of them find it through feeds, but really the best optimized offers and the best optimized links are going to be those that have great data feed quality, great compelling customer product descriptions, timely inventory, all of the kind of things that make a user's experience when they're comparing products makes that experience effective. Loyalty and rewards. We like to segment loyalty and reward publishers in 3 buckets. There are cashback sites like Ebates and Extra Bucks where they share their commission with the consumer in the form of cash. There are websites that share and publishers that share their commission with a consumer in the form of a reward. And the currency is something different, like points or mileage malls or credit card shopping points. And then finally, there are loyalty and reward publishers who share their commission with the consumer in the form of a contribution to a charity. And the most important lever when you're thinking about this segment is really the quality of that consumer passback. The better the passback, the higher the performance. And we've seen that lever be pulled in a very dramatic ways, particularly I think these last 2 recent holiday seasons. We saw some remarkably high consumer passbacks on some of the big sites, and the volume just was through the roof. So it really shows you that that's what those consumers go to that site, that's their destination, they care about those points, they value that currency, and the richer your reward, the stronger the lever that you can pull. One of the important distinctions in loyalty and reward sites, of course, is that with this class of publishers, and really only this segment of publishers, the consumer cares if it tracks. So you've got the burden of making sure that tracks, and the whole customer service piece of if a customer goes through one of these sites and it doesn't track properly, then you've got to be responsive to that member so that that member, your brand is not diminished by having a bad experience and having their transaction not tracked through that site. Content sites. A lot of people think about sort of content sites and niche sites being comparable, but I think they're very, very different. Particularly in these last few years, we've seen the emergence of some really important segments in content sites. But to me, the most important distinction when thinking about this segment is remembering that not all content sites are very late funnel, and therefore content sites have many options for monetization. They can run CPM ads, they can run CPC ads, and therefore you have to really help them understand how your affiliate ads how they interplay with the other monetization opportunities they have on their site. We've seen some very high volume performance coming from content sites these last couple of years, particularly in the fashion category, which obviously people are looking at fashion information. They're certainly potentially going to buy that fashion information, which puts them a little bit later in the funnel. But those sites also, again, have a lot of options in terms of monetizing via other tools like AdSense and dozens and dozens of networks that can be simpler than affiliate marketing sometimes. So I think our job when working with this segment is really to simplify things and help them understand how it interacts with other digital channels. So fashion sites have been a huge driver. Wedding sites, are always a great content group. In terms of this segment, people are looking to buy stuff for their wedding or people looking to buy gifts for the bride and groom. So that content group tends to do very well. Autism United, we actually consider that a content site, not a loyalty site, because they don't require a login. So all of the activity through that site goes to Autism United. So it's really a site that's about that autism community and content more than it is about the actual loyalty. Mommy Bloggers, the elusive Mommy Blogger, is of course an incredibly attractive content group. And then the do-it-yourself kind of home improvement also is another content category that we're seeing a lot of information. So with these sites, it's really about simplicity and tools, making it easy for them so that your CPA ads can compete with other very simple monetization opportunities, and making sure that they have great content and that your links match the content on their site. Community and social. What I think when you think about this segment, it's really about interaction. It's about having your brand be owned on these sites and about the merchant getting engaged with this community and interacting. And then, of course, we have social media platforms such as Polyvore and Mulu and Shop Squad and Shop Socially. So this is certainly an emerging area, but I think that when thinking about how to monetize this segment, it really is about it's really about interaction. And then finally, virtual currency, which would be the offer walls on many of the social platforms that are fueled by partners like TrialPay, SponsorPay, and Radium One. And in this case, it's really about this is the newest area of affiliate marketing, and optimization has been tricky, but it's certainly true that the highest bounty wins. So it's really about getting your bounty price right and understanding how your bounty fits in with your competitors. That's the most important thing when thinking about optimizing this particular publisher segment. And then finally, agencies and search specialists, who really can act as an extension of a brand's resources, extend their marketing spend, and help test new and emerging markets like mobile and international. And they're willing to do so on a CPA basis. And I think one of the keys to optimizing this segment of publishers is really about very fast payments. They're fronting money on behalf of a merchant, and therefore you have to be very responsive in terms of getting them their money back. And also, because they're being ambassadors for your brand, you want to be sure that you're sharing as much information as possible about your goals and about your brand. And then finally, what I think is the most, what is emerging in importance and ultimately the most sophisticated form of publisher segmentation is segmenting publishers around your customers and your customer goals, and working with publisher segments that are delivering uniquely against your customers and your goals. So this type of segmentation, really requires quite sophisticated analytics. You can have a publisher segment and work with those who really deliver against a certain target customer. So if your site has a demographic that continues to do very well, but you've got a new product line that proposes to attract a different demographic, then you may want to have a publisher segmentation model who can really deliver those new target customers. You might want to over-reward those publishers who are delivering that demographic and who can really deliver on the target customers. Publishers who deliver better than average lifetime value is a segment that might require special attention. Publishers who deliver a higher than average AOV or have a very, very low cost of acquisition. So those are just some examples of how a publisher might build a segmentation model against various goals. And obviously what the publisher can deliver there is an attractive audience that matches those goals, and really better performance and better metrics. So it might be lower volume, might be a different business model than you expect, but it's really about how do they deliver against the advertiser goals. And I think with we're certainly seeing in our customer base with it's much easier now than it was 2 or 3 or 4 years ago to do really sophisticated web analytics and web analytics models. So that's allowing advertisers, I think, for the first time to build really sophisticated segmentation models around these groups. And the key when we talk to advertisers about this type of segmentation, I think, is to give it time, to not look at this information in a vacuum. You can't build a model like this with 30 days of data. And you want to build a model that takes season after season and keeps season after season in mind, and really makes sure that you're rewarding publishers for the right behaviors. And really, I think when this is the type of segmentation that really allows you to let publishers be an extension of your resources. So they can help with global expansion, tap new markets, certainly help extend your budget, and basically overall deliver on more sophisticated customer goals than the very important but simple model of delivering sales or actions. So this is just a couple of different models that we're seeing advertisers start to talk about. So we're not really talking about pricing here, but really about understanding how customer goals fit against these different objectives. So we obviously, there may be publishers who come in on the first interaction that ultimately delivered a conversion that had a great deal of value in terms of matching a customer's goals. They may have paid a different publisher on that click, but we really want the segmentation model to understand the full funnel in terms of how that activity is driven back to the site and how it fits the goals. And then just a few examples of publisher segmentation in action. As I said, it happens all the time. An advertiser, you're tweaking your communications, you're tweaking your offer, you're tweaking your payout based on how your view of the segment, of where this publisher fits in terms of the segment. It's really about segmenting those direct interactions, making sure email marketing is as effective as possible. You want your email marketing campaigns to your publishers to be heard. So if you can segment those communications around things like recency. When did this affiliate last drive activity for me? How valuable was that activity? When did that, in terms of my goals, how is that activity fitting into my goals? Things like social media. How do you want to deploy different segmentation strategies in your social media? And most importantly, making sure that all of your publisher communications tailored by segment are customized to that segment and contain very actionable content that the publisher can take advantage of. Pricing is a critical component of an effective publisher segmentation strategy. Have the ability to increase and decrease pricing as you see fit, and maintain flexibility. We all get very concerned when we see advertisers sort of throw out these blanket statements around a large segment of publishers. I don't like coupon pubs. My loyalty pubs don't deliver incremental traffic. What we as a network and we as an industry have to do then is make sure that the advertiser is really understanding what they mean by that, and really understanding that segment in detail. How does that segment deliver against other goals? What can we change? If you want to tweak the pricing for one publisher in one segment, you don't have to tweak the pricing for all the publishers in that segment. So it's really about making sure that you make quality decisions around pricing. And then finally, in terms of where I think we see segmentation in action, it's really about aligning incentives, tailoring creative assets for publishers who deliver within these various segments, and most importantly, measuring the impact, looking at it as frequently as possible and refining these strategies as the data starts to tell the story. And I realize I tend to talk fast, so I will give you back some time. We can answer some questions. We can watch some football, but I'm happy to take any questions that you may have about publisher segmentation or anything else that you'd like to talk about this afternoon. No questions? Okay, thank you.